Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yes, this video is about this reverse gradient French ombre. I forgot what I wanted to call this, but it'll be in the title. So it's been this trend, and I'm gonna slide through. This is just a video shot of a post I saved that Vanessa Nails products page had shared. And you can see the ladies and gentlemen, if we know, that are tagged on these different sets. So I'm not the person who originated this. This is kind of an easier version of this. I did a tutorial on this. It was actually a live I did on Facebook that I just put here on YouTube. So check this out. This French is easier than this, I must say. So this is just the artwork. It's already filed everything my clients set, and I hadn't tried this before, so this is literally the first time I'm trying it is what you're seeing. So my client picked out two colors, and they are both buttercreams from Elegance. What I recommend with this process, first and foremost, it's a vertical ombre, which I've done time and time again, especially on this channel. So first foremost, like I said, it's a vertical ombre. So we're going to start with one color on one side, another color on the other side, and blend those together. Now we want to make sure that the colors will blend together, so we have to consider and respect our color wheel. So these are both, and these look way more blue on camera. They're definitely more blue toned purples, but the camera picks it up a little more blue than it actually is in real life. So this set really does, my client wanted purple. It does lean more purple to the naked eye, just to let you know. So again, vertical ombre. So one half I'm polishing, and I'm trying, I always recommend to keep your vertical ombres thin in application. So this, you can kind of tell, I pick up a little more product because her nail's a little bit longer. But then when I'm taking my brush off screen, I'm wiping it off, and I have a silicone mat that I use and recommend. I love it. It's acetone resistant. I keep it under my work area. Love it. So you're going to polish one color on one side, and it doesn't have to be the buttercreams you have to apply with a gel brush, but it can be a regular gel polish. And if you're doing regular gel polish, please try this out. Well, no matter what you're using, try it out ahead of time on a swatch stick or something like that, just to make sure it looks good. It works. I would recommend using similar consistency products, or the actual same brand of products, like both, Madam Glam, or both Elegance, or both. There's a million gel polish brands. I don't know why my mind went blank, but just, if the colors are in the same brand, more than likely they'll blend pretty well together. Also, considering color theory, don't try to vertical ombre a red and a green. You can try. It'll probably look muddy in the blend. But, if you want to try it, you can. But it's color theory. It's not my fault. So definitely try the colors out beforehand, but also the products beforehand to make sure that they blend well. Now, you can, like I said, in similar consistency products, you can try it if they're not. Just see if it works. If it works, it works. You know what I mean? But just some tips for you when you're doing just any vertical ombre. It doesn't have to be this specific style. So you can use a polish brush if you're using regular polish. Like I mentioned, this is the Elegance buttercreams. They're in a little jar, so you need a gel brush. So I'm applying 2 coats of this vertical ombre, just try to get that pigmentation, because like I said, I like to polish my vertical ombres very thin because I think it helps with the blend. This is sped up, of course, so I'm continuously, as you see me do, take a little break. I'm wiping my brush off, coming back. Wiping my brush off a little bit, coming back, just because removing some product from the brush. So then I can kind of thin out the color towards the center. So that light color, I applied more opaque towards the left side of it. And then I applied it, I wiped the brush off and kind of thinned it out. So towards the center where they have to blend, there's less product. And that's going to make an easier blend. if you have a lot of product you're working with, it can really make this a much more difficult process. So when we're doing that blend, we're just kind of moving to the left, some strokes, to the right, some strokes, and we're just trying to literally blend those colors. So I always say this is tedious more than it is difficult. Again, considering colors and product consistency. So I wiped the edge off and then I polished it because, like I said, this is my first time doing it. I didn't even try this beforehand. I don't know. That was arrogant, right? I didn't try it beforehand. But it ended up working out. I want to do it again and again. Probably at least 3 more times. Different colors. I have ideas anyways. So I definitely want to reapproach this because I tried it one way and I thought it was going to be cool, it was going to work, and it didn't. So I tried to apply it a third coat, and while it's wet, remove the French tip. You know what I mean? That didn't work. I didn't catch it on camera. That didn't work. So I tried that, wiped it off, boom. So I was like, I'm going to go with kind of what I seen some other people do, draw it on, because I thought the other way would be easier, but they knew it. They knew what they were doing. So, you know. So on one side of the nail, I'm drawing the French the opposite color, essentially, than what's on the right side of the nail. You know what I mean? Of course. So I'm going to fill in that sidewall area a little bit just because it's a little more narrow and it's hard to fit that brush in there. So I'll go ahead and fill that in. It's really mostly how I do a regular French, honestly, except we're kind of switching colors. So I filled it in with the darker color on the right, and then I'm going to fill it in with the lighter color on the left using the same technique. It's going to be more opaque when it's right on the edge, and as we go towards the center, I'm going to thin it out. I'm going to wipe my brush, go back in, and go ahead. Well, right now I'm adding more color to get the opacity where I want. When I go towards the center to blend it, I wipe the brush and then go ahead and get those colors. And you see I'm moving a little to the left, a little to the right, to the left, and then back to the right until it's blended in the center. And I always like to tell people, like, if you're trying to do a vertical ombre with red and blue, we want to, in the center of that blend, red and blue make purple. So we want to have red and slowly turn into like a red tone purple, then a blue tone purple, then your blue. That's essentially what we want to do with this. So we want to go from this darker blue purple to this more kind of lighter slatey one. And in the middle, we want those medium tones. So I'm just drawing each half of the French. I do flip my client's hand over to make sure it's balanced and that it's drawn on well. I'm going to be real honest. This is easier than a regular plain French to draw, in my opinion, to literally draw, because you don't have to be as clean with it. I guess it would depend on the colors you end up using. Maybe if you do something more stark and more contrast, like maybe as an extreme black and white, then it would probably matter a little more. But you don't really notice like little fine things that would kind of stand out if this was like a stark, you know, neon white, bright or dark French on like a nude or something like that. We don't really have those worries or issues with this just because that blend and everything, that optical illusion that's happening kind of distracts. So not that we want to purposely draw a bad French, of course. I'm just letting you know you got a little leeway. Yeah. So as far as the tip goes, I thought I was going to polish it again with this layer. What I end up doing is I clean it up and I filed the color off her tip. So I just needed her shape to be nice and clean. I'm sorry. I just needed that. So I went in and I used the 180 side grit of my file. I cleaned the free edge portion, but extended from the sidewalls. Clean that up so it don't look bulky. Then I flattened out that free edge so we don't get a curved look. So hopefully in the final shots you can tell it's a much more crisp shape. These are my client, for the most part, these are my client's natural nails. So they do kind of curve and twist a little bit. You could probably tell I fixed how far they curve down, like a, talony. I did correct that about a set or two ago. So you can see that they want to curve. They do slightly curve, but yeah. So just keep that in mind. But I need to clean that up. So I applied 2 coats of the French, just like we did with the base. And you may find it different depending on the opacity of your colors. Again, I like to work thin because I think it helps the blend. So by default, for the most part, I am going to have to apply 2 coats, but I think it's going to, for me overall, it makes the process a little better. So I found out when I did the second coat that I like to apply the French line thicker, like a lot more product. If you'll see me once I messed up my line, I want to apply it thicker, so I'm getting a good amount on there, and then that way you can kind of feather it down. You can leave your more crisp line. So you can see I'm gonna take that brush and I'm not going all the way up to that French line. I'm just blending out that bulk of that product, if that makes sense. So that's when I got in the groove of it. I already did 2 coats of it, multiple fingers, and I decided, that's my thing. So you can see I'm really taking advantage of it on this one, applying a good amount of product, getting that corner just because that brush can be hard to fit in there. And then you see how I'm just fading the bulk of that product down without having to actually touch the line. And you can work, when it's usually the second coat, I'll work one side at a time. So you can see on that last finger, I just put the lighter color and faded it and went ahead and cured and didn't even apply the dark color. That's usually something I'll do on second, third coats if necessary, just to kind of work with my blend, get it how I want it. Because sometimes one color needs more opacity than the other color. Sometimes it'll help with the blend because the darker color has a more, it kind of comes across as like a jelly-ish type color. So it has a cute little translucency to it. This specific color, and I think it's called All Hands on Deck. Again, it's from like Elegance, one of their buttercreams. And so it made this ombre really nice to do this fade, just because it has that effect, that slight translucency to it. So when it's blended over that lighter color, and it's thinned out, it naturally just, it wants to blend out. So for this use, it was a great color to use. But again, it does come across a little more purple in real life. So I'm going with that same technique. I told you I ended up, establishing in the middle of this, my first time trying it, applying that thicker layer at the line, just getting that line nice and clean, but applying more product and just feathering it down and then bringing it over. The most tedious part is right in the middle of that French. You have to be very careful right there, but beyond that, it's relatively simple, right, guys? This is our final look. She got a matte. Yeah, I really want to get this video out to you guys. No, this is a trend. I don't know who started it. It's similar to like that 3D weave design or whatever. So let's put a little, I don't even know what kind of emoji this deserves. We gotta put something like a blue emoji, a purple emoji. I just did the amethyst video, so I don't want to take the purple away, but this isn't blue. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye.